All right, here we go. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B artists, singers, and songwriters and producers, everybody who has changed the game of R&B. But I'm here with a Grammy-nominated R&B legend. Like, it's gonna be flower on top of flowers. I mean, technically, Rell, I gotta give you one of the king of hooks. Like, technically, one of them. Like, you up there with Nate Dogg and them, you know that, right? That's up there. But I'm so honored to have this R&B legend, Grammy nominated singer, songwriter, actor. I gotta put actor on there because I watched it when I was like 12 years old on State Property.
Wow.
Yes, look. So we going back in time. But I'm truly honored to have this R&B legend come on my platform. The one, the only, Mr. Rell. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Like excited about what we're gonna be doing this evening, and definitely excited about like what you took on, and doing this today. Like this was unexpected, and I greatly appreciate it. I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
You broke up a little bit.
We're here. We're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Devil is alive.
Yeah.
So, but thank you. I just want to give you your flowers for your platform, your position, and how you've been able to expand with it. I'm at your service. My team's at your service. Whatever you might need from us now in the future, just holler. I'm telling you in advance, we got you.
Oh, thank you. Well, today we celebrate the 15th anniversary of Usher's 5th album, Here I Stand, the title track that you wrote that we got to talk about and honor today because, like I told you, when I was 19, that song came out at the time, I was going through a lot. I lost my mom a year prior before. But for that song, the Touch Louisiana, we played that every day back when I was in college.
Wow.
That song meant something to us back in the day. So I'm just honored to have you. Like, it's so crazy. Like 15 years. Like, can you believe it's been 15 years since that album dropped?
No. And definitely shout out to Louisiana and the Texas area. There's always been love there. Always been, a beautiful music scene.
Yeah.
Both states. So, got to give them their props, give them their flowers, and to any Rell fanatics or followers out that way, much appreciated. We're at FX Soundbox now, so that's where I'm signed, and that's where the music that you'll be hearing from me will be coming from, in the near future. So, just stick with us. I thank you all, and back to you, man.
Okay, well, before we get out of there, because don't drop all them gems now. We ain't getting started on every, but we got to celebrate you and Usher today. So since it's been 15 years, I want to ask you before we do get started, how have you been since this crazy pandemic? How have you been since the 2020 decades hit? How have you been?
Since the pandemic, pretty much like everybody else. I had to endure the same standstill.
Yeah.
As far as performing and even as far as studio work.
Yeah.
Health takes the front seat to everything else, and the pandemic was definitely a scare, and to some degree, for a lot of people, still is.
Yeah.
And so, I took that time to research, read more. Picked up books. Got a lot of downtime. Started figuring out how to reach my fan base. I had time to do that. Find out what really makes them tick. They like to laugh. They like to be informed.
Yeah.
They like when they're behind the scenes with you. So I learned all of these things when I had time to sit still.
Right.
Family time. Things like that. So pretty much the same way it affected everybody. But we positive souls. So we know that this too shall pass.
That's right. Trouble don't last always. You get what I'm saying?
Can't last always.
Okay, preach. Thank you so much. So before we do get to talk about Usher, you and Usher and how they got started, I want to talk to you about who you are as a person, because a lot of people are new to the platform that come on here, but we want to get to know about your history and the legacy of what you've done. So I know you are from the Bowman, South Carolina. I've never heard of this place, Bowman. Like, come on, look. Rell, you gotta explain how it was like growing up there, but not even that. Like, what was some of your inspirations like doing R&B music? Like, how was it growing up in Bowman, South Carolina?
Bowman was mainly church. You know,
Mm.
it was a small town. Definitely, like you're related to almost everybody. It's one of those situations. One traffic light.
Yeah.
You know, small schools, but people enriched with culture. People enriched with religion. People are enriched with
Yeah.
family dynamic. You know, where I'm from, if nothing else, you're gonna eat. You're gonna eat till your belly's full. You know, as long as you play your cards right, like you won't go without food. So, you know, anybody that's been through Orangeburg County or anywhere through South Carolina, they pretty much tell you that it's a land of
Mm.
hospitality. You know, we got the same issues everybody else has, but Bowman was a small town where things were predominantly um, centered around your relationship with God. The
Mm.
platforms predominantly religious. So,
Yeah.
my first stage was with the mass choir, male chorus, junior
Yeah.
choir. That was my first stage. And they give you confidence, because they keep saying sing, regardless how bad you sound, you know, regardless how good you sound. What they push is, your passion for what you're doing. Like, that's the
Mm.
one thing that we got, a lot of as children growing up
Yeah.
in South Carolina. So shout out to Bowman, shout out to Bowman High School. We never stop trying.
Hey.
You know, shout out to all my small towns out there
Mm.
who breed these diamonds in the rough like myself.
Yeah.
Small towns. A lot of great people come out of small situations. A lot of great
Mm.
things come out of small situations. So I'm a small town boy. You
Right.
know, I'm good in my hood. So, oh, definitely, definitely. I'm front line with my community.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't even have to call me; they just know I'll be there. So they'll go ahead and put me on the program.
Yeah.
So, and I'm proud of that heritage. I'm proud that my own consider me a countryman, and
Mm.
so my focus since I moved back home was just to write and produce and showcase in
Yeah.
that vein from here on.
Right.
But Bowman is definitely, like I said, it's a jewel. Um, it's a small town, so it's that small town life. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world.
That's right. It always says it keeps you humble, and I think it keeps you grounded because what you've done in this music industry, I can understand why at the end of the day you have longevity where a lot of people that didn't can't talk about how they wrote for other people. You know what I'm saying? Makes perfect
I
sense.
think the biggest benefit was that I went in as a songwriter. Predominantly, I went in as a creator. So
Mm.
I was able to understand both lanes, if you will, the
Yeah.
artistry and the creative. And um, for me, the thing was to just be careful not to let the ego, overstep,
Mm.
the opportunities,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the opportunities are what create great music. And
Mm-hmm.
as an artist, ego can get in the way of that sometimes. And
Yeah.
I was always in love with the creative process. I think being in love with the creative process is what allowed me to keep my passion through all the business.
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. So, by you doing that and being influential in your hometown, I wanted to ask you, like, I know you were in a group named Finesse, and I know you were in pre-med school at South Carolina State. So, like, how did that come about when you getting with your group Finesse, and did they kind of like gear start you and going into the music industry?
Well, Vanessa was a group from Orangeburg. Orangeburg
Mm-hmm.
is a city in Orangeburg County. And
Yeah.
Vanessa was a group from Orangeburg. We all grew up in a time where the towns were kind of separate back then. This was before a lot of, color gangs, things like that, if you will. So
Yeah.
it was really just where you were from. And we all rep where we from.
Oh, bro, you breaking up a little bit.
Might be us. Okay, we back.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. My apologies. But Darlington ain't trying to hear me not being that nice. So we they I was there for pre med, and
Mm.
that was kind of how we hooked up. Like there was no other way to hook up in those times. We weren't really getting along, you know, these
Yeah.
different towns, but music, colleges, after school programs, summer programs for honor students, things like that started to bring a lot of us together on the campuses. And so that's when
Yeah.
relationships, started to be built, and trust started to be built, loyalty, and all these different things. And now I love the entire Orangeburg County, and it reverberates all across South Carolina. But so pre-med is while I was there at South Carolina State. I went there to pursue that. Biology at that point in my life, it fascinated me. Having on the white coat and finding out what happened to the recently deceased, something I was into. However, I was also into music.
Yeah.
So
there
was this group. Yeah, there was this group that was, from the area, and occasionally they would come through, the freshman dorm. It was a place that they had grown accustomed to rehearsing, either in the stairwell or in the study hall, the study room. But the acoustics there was just retarded. So you got to remember, we're in a time of Take Six, Ryan McKnight, Boys to Men. So all of that type of stuff was going on. These boys had.
You better give Boys to Men their flowers, because people don't.
Oh, I have to. That even Ḥodacy, that whole era, it was because Ḥodacy, they had that confidence, that arrogance all the time, and you wanted that too. So, during that time, contemporary vocals was still a big deal. I'm minding my business, walking to another homie's dorm room, and heard that going on. Stopped in, and didn't stop going in until I became a part of it. Really, they found me first at the freshman talent show. At the freshman talent show, I didn't win it. I came in second place, but two members from that group approached me after the freshman orientation thing was over. It was like, dude, you're nice. And that was really where it all happened. It all happened from there. We ventured north together. Signed to Top 10 Entertainment in the Bronx. We were pushing to get a deal at that time. Things didn't fall through my favor at that time, and we all ventured back south. I think a few stayed there, but a few of us ventured back south, and then I came back up again. And got with the same people that we were with before, and took it full throttle. So, like, it was just trying to make right improvements, trying to.
You broke up.
So from there, one day I ran into Dame Dash, and boom, he was like, "I can't promise you the world, but I can promise you you're gonna be a part of everything we have." And that was it. Shook hands, and I was signed to Rockefeller, a handshake. So big up to Dash. A lot of people don't know that.
For a verbal agreement, because I know you did say you wanted to.
Right. I definitely wanted people to know that, like, it was a handshake that brought that deal together. Any paperwork was drawn up later, but a handshake brought that deal together, and a handshake released the deal. So got to give him his props for that. Like, Dame wanted all us to win. He wanted everybody he signed to win. To take on mogul mentalities for themselves, and take it on to the next. That was his whole thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because I mean, you're in that realm now. You really with the big dogs, and now you going up there with Dame Lee. You got people say Dame Dash, The Rock, very interesting. Yeah, because people don't know Dame did a lot for this industry, And I know you were talking about, so by you getting with Dame and all this like that, I know you said one of your first hooks, was it with Lord Finesse? Like, how did that come out? I heard you popped in a session or something, and then pretty much Ghetto was like your first hook. So how did that kind of all come about at that time?
That was Lord Finesse was affiliated with Top 10 Entertainment. It's all stationed in the Bronx. Lord Finesse is, Parkchester. Shout out to Parkchester and that whole area of the Bronx. And he came into Top 10 Entertainment one day. And before that, he was just this guy I would see in the back of Right On magazine. His music was always promoted. It was like, who's this guy with the cornrows? He's always in the back, but I never see his stuff. And so now I'm meeting him, and he's helping me understand that there's a big market in the UK and all these places outside of America. And like, wow. So he heard my demos. He was like, I like your work ethic. I like your tone. I want to get you in the studio to do some things, So we did that. and Ghetto came about, and he was like, "I'm keeping this. I'm putting this on my project," and my jaw dropped. I was just like, "Oh my god!" So now I go from just making my placements with a lot of independent people,
Mm-hmm.
well, a few independent people, to
Yeah.
making my first placement on a hip hop artist with a celebrity, rapper that I had only seen in magazines before that point. And
Wow.
then to find out that, he was, one of the founding members of Digging in the Crack, and that's put me in Fat Joe, Showbiz, AG.
Bro, what did you
He,
say? You broke
you
up
know,
again. What did you say?
I said, Finesse being one of the founding members of Digging in the Crates. He I was introduced to that.
Well, you breaking up.
Miguel, all the rest of them. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
still
it's
breaking
breaking
up.
up. Yeah,
Okay,
you're breaking up.
we are almost in. We are almost there. I'm almost stationary. I'm almost stationary. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're breaking
I
up.
don't
It
think you
keeps
can hear
cutting
me at
off. It
all
keeps
right
slowing
now.
slowing down the thing.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me at all?
I can, but your words are not going with the thing. Yeah, it's cutting out of it. Yeah.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can, but the
Okay.
screen is just
All
messed
right.
up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
there
still
it is.
messing
It's
up
going.
with the screen.
No, it's much better now.
Okay. Well, we are almost here. We're literally about to get off on our exit. That was why I
Okay.
chanced it, because it's like, okay, by the time we get started with this, I'm literally going to be stationary where, this won't happen. I didn't want to put it off because we were both on different
I
times.
understand.
You at 2 o'clock and me at 3.
Yeah.
I understand that there's an organization that goes into this. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to help keep that clock.
No.
So my
Do you
apologies
want to
again
hold? Do you
for
want to
that.
hold back and just
Even
wait,
if we
and
got
then
to
we can
do
go?
this again, we can.
You said what?
I thought I cut
I
you
said.
off.
I said, do you want to go live on IG, or do you just want to just wait and just come back?
Um, Actually, we're good now. We're actually in town, and
Oh wow.
I don't foresee the signal going out. Like we're actually getting closer to our destination point. So if it's
Okay.
strong for you, I would love to continue.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was how that came about. Like I was
Yeah.
top 10 was how I met Lord Finesse and Dame Dash. So shout out
Mm-hmm.
to Top 10 Entertainment. That's Darren Chandler. And shout out to Donald I Rock Blanks from Perth Amboy, New Jersey. They had a partnership, and
Yeah.
I was under that partnership, and that partnership is what led me to placements with Lord Finesse and with Rockefeller.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was what
That
did
makes.
it. Mind you, these are the same people I met with the group Finesse. All right, so there was a loyalty there. I didn't step off. It didn't work that time. I'm coming right back to you guys. I respect how y'all get down. Let's see what
Right.
we can make happen. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? It was a
Right.
big deal for me to keep it that way because I love Finesse. And if it was going to happen, it was going to happen through the people that I knew through Finesse. That was my way of honoring them.
That
As
makes
opposed
sense.
to, yeah.
That makes sense. So by you doing that, so is this now you going ahead and now doing your solo stuff? So is this how
Right.
like you started getting on these hooks with Fat Joe will Walk On By? Because I didn't realize it's the 25th anniversary, and then we got Streets of Watching. I don't know if you recently seen it. It just made 25 years, so that's 25 years old this year. Like the soundtrack, all that stuff is 25 years. So by you doing all these hooks, like is that how you kind of got your push in the Rockefeller doing all these hooks for all these artists and stuff like that?
I would say they definitely helped. But
Mm.
but Dame heard what he heard when he came to the Bronx. He
Yeah.
had a relationship with Darren also, and so he heard what he heard when he came to the Bronx. It wasn't because a few of those placements actually came
Yeah.
after Dame initially like he initially put his word down. Was like, listen, I'm working on some things.
Mm-hmm.
I like you. I like your work ethic. He kind of went down a list of things, and he was like, in a minute, I may be hollering back at you.
Yeah.
And so that minute came, with once whatever happened for him, Jay and Biggs had happened,
Yeah.
He came back and he was like, "Look, I can't promise you the world. I don't know what I'm doing with R&B, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
What I do know is that, whatever we have on the table, I'm gonna make sure that you're a part of it."
Yeah.
And that was enough.
Yeah.
That was enough. That was like, I mean, you can't be more honest.
That's
I
true.
don't. It was the honesty, the sincerity in what he was saying that it was enough. All right, I can shake hands on that. We good.
Right, and that makes sense to me because now I'm looking at everything and what you've done. Like, so being on the soundtrack and doing this stuff. So, how did the solo album? Because I know your solo album got shelved. And I was talking to one of my friends. He had downloaded your album. He said he loved it. He loved your debut album. So, how at that time you were doing your solo project? How did that kind of all culminate? And like, how did that come about? Even though we didn't get a chance, but now it's still on YouTube. People love it on YouTube. So we got a chance to listen. But Rell, like, how would it feel to get that back released? Like, how did it feel on your debut album at the time, Remedy?
Oh my goodness. The Remedy was our second album. Well, it was the one that we put out.
Yeah.
We had one before that called Medicine.
Right.
Medicine was how we got the deal. So so we did Remedy once we got the deal. And Remedy was everything. Like I couldn't, Remedy was contemporary R&B, Southern soul, hood. Remedy was all these different elements, and that's what we wanted. I don't think I even meant for that to happen.
Yeah.
But I was glad that it did, I was glad that it did. Every song, I could see or feel like, even though I was in New York, it was always about, the South loving what I was doing, because now they're becoming prevalent. Like they're blowing up while I'm at Rockefeller. Like, go figure. Y'all wait till I leave home to do this.
Yeah. So do you feel like you're an honorary member of New York? Because I mean, you technically got that up there too. Like they give you a lot of respect up there.
Oh, I mean, I was up there almost as long as I was down south. I left home at 18. I was in New York City for 17 years. So I'm kind of both. I'm kind of both, but at the the country is what's in my bones. But I am definitely an honorary New Yorker, and I'm honored to say that. It's a humble statement. It's not an arrogant statement.
Oh, well, you better preach. Look, I pray and I hope, bro, we get them the medicine and like Remedy. We need those on the platform, bro, because people are really missing it. And like I said, you got a fan that really loves your music, like for real, for real.
Well, I'm just thankful. Again, that humility. I'm thankful because a lot of artists aren't here now. Some of them for reasons that's not their fault. It's just a game it be.
Yeah.
And I'm just thankful that, I'm getting any attention.
You better preach.
Thankful I'm getting any attention, and we're still trying to put something on, like, literally, like, not that it's the same thing now, but we're still trying to put something on the shelves for people.
Right.
So to know that that can still be done and we can still reach them, and there are those that actually, want to see that happen.
Yeah.
It's all humbling. It's an honor, and it's recharging. It's invigorating. It's something that, it's that second win. Like, finally a war worth fighting. Let's go.
Okay. That's right. So I know you said on Rockefeller for like 7 to 8 years, and I know at that time, you doing your time and stuff like that. I know you learned about the business and everything on your own, just being a singer songwriter. So I think we're kind of getting the 2000 realm. So you did my song with Young Guns, No Better Love. That was a jam. Like growing up back in the day, my cousin, he had a barbecue like years ago, and I remember like my cousin, we played on MTV Jams, and that song was played every hour by the hour, and we blasted up so loud at our barbecue, just celebrating. Like, how was it doing that record at that time? But how was it at the time in the 2000s? You still kind of getting that resurgence, because like once you sing a hook, it's like everybody knows that hook and just sings it. How did you feel about that at the
time? Again, another honor, because it's not easy following Luther. Not at all. That's my whole thing. I'm in the studio like, I gotta follow Luther. Yeah, I got the lyrics, but I gotta follow Luther. So, once we got that finished product, that was the biggest part for me was that, you know, I did Luther Vandross's service. I did not discredit, you know, the king of vocal dynamics as we know it. I did not discredit him. I did him a service, and that was what it was all about for me. You know,
Yeah.
the streets I know I could tame with my R&B, but how is that contemporary top tier group going to feel about this? And so far, you know, it's been all good. So I have my own rendition of what I did with the Young Guns, and I perform it. You know,
I bet people know the song, don't they? I bet when they sing, they know that whole.
oh man, like I'll mic check them just to let them know who in the house. Like that's my mic check. Mic check. You. Let me do a mic check with it. Don't stop giving me your love. Oh, that's you. Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Real,
Oh,
I
y'all
was like,
ready
do
now?
people
Oh,
know?
okay, good.
You better say it right. Yes, and I love that because, like I said, for me, kids my age, and like I said, my little cousins, like 7 to 8, singing that, they go to show you your impact on people. You know what I'm saying? Because,
Right.
like I said, we're all adults now. We all in our late 20s, early 30s. You know what I'm saying? But for us to still know the hook to that song, even though we respect Young Guns and the stuff they did, but everybody once that hook come, we don't care about all that. We won't sing the song. You know what I'm saying? Because for you, you gave the marriage and hip hop and R&B a sound that everybody can sing to. The hood dudes can sing to it. You know what I'm saying? The girls can sing to it. It just gives that formula, like you said about Jodeci and Boys and Men. It gives that formula of people to love music of R&B because, like you said, it all comes from stemming from every genre. You get them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And um, I've always loved hip hop. Um, most singers will tell you they listen to hip hop on their downtime, not listen to R&B. Um, but most rappers will tell you that they listening to R&B or some form of melody on their downtime. They're not listening to hip hop. So,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's just the relationship we had at Rockefeller. I was dead set on making sure that they could be radio, you know, they have radio friendly hooks.
Yeah.
I was dead set on making sure that, you know, they'd have like user friendly hooks, things that people remember, you know, and
Mm,
enjoy. And so that became a part of my blueprint, just
mm,
to see that, you know, if I was on it, that was done, you know. And we got Jim Jones, Blow Your Smoke. We got a lot of different things out there where, you know, we just wanted to make sure that people had that element always
yeah.
in that 8 bars, you know, as far as Rell's concerned, you know. So I'm just thankful. Like I said, my advice, guys, before she
Mm,
even asked the question, love what you do what you love, believe. But as far as this industry, like make sure that you're passionate about the creative process. Just because it's the only thing that's going to keep you, you know, at certain times in business. Certain
yeah.
times in business, you know, if you're not in love with your craft, if your craft is just a gimmick to you, you know, or it's just a way that you bring in income, like the magic won't be there.
Mm,
But if you can just keep the passion for what you're creating and like always love what you're doing when you're in that sanctuary, that vocal booth,
yeah.
uh, like it won't matter how topsy turvy the business is, you'll be fine.
You better preach.
You'll, you'll be fine.
Let the people know it's what you love. Like people just
It's
get
what
caught
you
in the
love.
business
It's
sometimes.
what you love. Like
Yeah.
if you're doing what you love, it never feels like work. And most of the time, if you're doing what you love, it's only process work in
Mm,
comparison to back breaking work. So keep that in mind. Like pursue what you love.
yeah.
You know, 'cause a lot of times you're gonna be doing a lot less back breaking work doing
Mm,
what you love because, and even if it does, you know, stress the body some,
yeah.
if it's what you love, it doesn't feel like work to you. It
Mm,
doesn't, you know. And speaking of which, you know, I appreciate these celebrity moments, but like I told you, I'm a country boy. I grew up around tradesmen. You know,
okay.
I was inspired by coaches. You know, different mentors. I took elements from a lot of different places. It wasn't about who wasn't there, you know, it was about who was.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't about like a lot of us get caught up on who didn't do what, but pay attention to who's around because there's still a lot of people to learn from.
amen.
And, you know,
Mm,
so with that being said, shout out to the whole middle class, all roughly 39 million of you, 40 million of you on the books. I'm a part of that as well and a
yeah.
product of it. Who get up every day,
Mm,
and get it done. You know, some of us are working for ourselves, some of us are throwing on uniforms, what have you. The thing is, they don't get enough light, and they are predominantly the ones listening to my music, enjoying my music. And so I want to take out a minute to shout them out, you know, on this platform while we got the opportunity. All tens of millions of you, thank you, mothers, fathers, thank you, mentors, guardians, thank you, working class, you know,
Amen.
for getting up every day and getting it done. They only talk about the 1% of you who refuse to do that or can't do it, what have you, but they never talk about the rest of you who do all the time. So we're gonna do that while we're here too.
You better, man, bro. You dropping so many gems. I'm sure. How we gonna get the Usher? You just keep dropping gems at this point.
I told you we was gonna do this though. Like you can't say that you've been down for as long as you have and not expect this. I'm like, we're gonna do the extra.
That
We're gonna do
part.
the extra every time. Yeah, yeah.
That,
I'm one of them.
okay,
So
Rell. You got
I'm
people in
one
the
of them.
chat saying, my friend John, he said yes. And look, my friend is saying facts. Preach. Like, and people don't talk about that. Be humble. And that's what I love. You saying be humble. Love what you do, but always be humble. Because like I said, you had to start from the beginning somewhere before you got God.
Everybody. And we all in the Southeast here. I expect them to chime in. You better chime in. Y'all my countrymen and women too. The only thing that's different about us is where we at, the twang on our words, and the seasoning on our food. Everything else about how we live is the same.
Amen.
I've been where y'all at, and if any of y'all been to South Carolina, y'all see it. So shout out to the whole Southeast, man. You know, I got all y'all. All of y'all are mine as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, look.
Everything from Texas to Virginia, me.
That part.
I love all y'all.
I
love all y'all. All 80 million of you. You heard that?
Hey man.
I do my numbers. So
right now, yeah. So now wrestlers, now we getting into the like mid 2000s, and now we getting to the end of the 2000s. So now you hooked up with, well, he's now a doctor, Dr. Usher Raymond IV. He just recently got his honorary doctorate at Berkeley College. Wow. I wanted to ask you, how did you get to meet Usher at the time? And at this time, because this is his fifth album, this is like literally when Confessions is like out the roof. So now you're working on his fifth album, Here I Stand. How did you come to the process of doing that beautiful, timeless song? And not even that, how did you find out when you knew it was going to be the title track? Well, what did you feel when your reaction when you found out all this stuff?
Wow. I was numb.
What?
You know,
it's awesome.
I was numb. Like, I didn't, you know, because I was happy.
Yeah.
I was in shock. I wasn't surprised, you know, like all of that. I felt all of that. So, but then I knew that, you know, the business still had to be done. Like, you know, outside of what we just did here in Sony Studios tonight, it's got to go, you know, to, you know, the board of trustees now, if you will. But, you know, he said that night, like, man, I'm going to fight them tooth and nail, even if I got to bump something else off this project. They're not going to like it, but I don't care. This is it. This is the culmination of not only this album, but my life. This is where I am right now.
Yeah.
And you know, it was just a rush of emotion that I had no way of showing. You know, I was like, it was a shock, but it was a numb. It was just, wow, did this just really happen? Like, wow. I made Usher's project. I know the numbers that this guy does. And how I met him, you know, was through 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗃. You know, he was outsourcing, you know, that album he wanted contemporary feels. And so which was kind of the opposite of Confessions. That album he wanted contemporary feels, you know, in the music, which was kind of the opposite of the Confession project. It was kind of the opposite of Confession. So he got with 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗃. 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗃 were two of the, you know, elite Philly producers that that I already had a relationship with. So one of my roommates actually was in the studio and saw, you know, 𝗏𝗏, and they're tight. And he was like, hey, Rell's at the crib. He was like, Rell, oh my God, man, bring Rell in here, please. We writing for Usher. Yeah, so none of that happened. None of that happened through a label. I was literally in the apartment. I might have been PlayStationing. You know, we played Madden when we wasn't working real hard. So I might have been PlayStationing.
Right.
And but when I got that call, it was like, okay, yeah. So I tracked on up to Sony. And we did maybe 3 or 4 demos. We did a Take It There, which was hot. That and all they were all demos that Vidal and Dre had produced. So
Yeah.
when we got to Here I Stand, it was like it took me all the 20 minutes to write that whole song. It was just
20
contemporary.
minutes.
Yeah, it's contemporary. It's like, well, first off, fan base, I don't write per se. I'm from that school of hard knocks too when it comes to that.
Hey.
The one thing we all had in common once we got together, that is, at Rockefeller, was that, look, I'm a boss, he's a boss, you're a boss, she's a boss. That Mike is a boss, but this pen and this pad is a middleman. We don't do
what?
middlemen.
Oh wow.
That's we don't do middlemen. We go to the mic, we feel it out, we speak from the heart until the song is done.
Damn, I had never heard of that.
We punch in, we punch in, we punch in. Like I mean, you don't really see pen and pads around. You didn't see pen and pads around Baseline Studios a lot. You just didn't see that.
Oh
nah. And they were sharp because they would spar with each other. They would throw lines at each other all day long. So penetrating them was hard. That's why they were so strong.
Wow.
That's why they were so strong. So it was an honor to witness a lot of that. We were our own death row. And that's the one thing you can't take away from it. It's like, nah, man, there's a history. There's a rich history there. Like
wow.
Grown men came out of this situation. Grown women. The people are rich now behind this. And so it's an honor. It's an honor to be a part of that era.
Yeah.
But Dre and Vidal, they did it. And when Dre and Vidal did it, Usher came in while we were recording. He heard the up tempo. He liked the up tempo. And then he heard Here I Stand, and he was just like, oh my God. And that was the first time we were in the room together. I was hella intimidated. I was, because this is Usher. I was a fan.
You only been around big artists.
Yeah, but I was a fan before I was an artist. Like I go back to every time I look at you, there's so many things that I wanna. I'm an Usher fan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're in the studio together now. It doesn't matter that we're the same age. None of that stuff matters. It doesn't matter that I'm an artist, he's an artist. Ladies love us both. Whatever. None of that matters to me. It's like, this is Usher.
Okay.
And now I'm on his project, and I'm honored to be on it. And there was a grown man handshake, and I never forget that. And he was appreciative. And then he asked me to write the lyrics down. Ladies and gentlemen, Usher's very hands-on. Like, it's real. I need y'all to understand how hands-on this man is behind the scenes when he's creating. All right. I'm not taking anything away from I'm not giving away a secret. I'm just letting y'all know, like, every word, like every bar, all the choreography, everything behind what he does, he's on it. He's on top of what he does. Like, and he had my thorough respect. I'm like, it takes that to peek through a curtain and see 50,000 seats sold out. It takes being that way. Like, my hat's off to Jay-Z. It takes that. All right. So if you're not understanding that, then you really need to get focused and understand what it's like to peek through a curtain, big red velvet curtains, and see every seat sold for 3 decks.
Yeah.
3 decks. All seats sold. You know what I mean? And it's as quiet as they're just waiting on the show. Ain't no music playing. It's as quiet as it can be in a place that's holding 50,000 people. So it's just, clamoring, but it's silent clamor, but it's quiet enough for you to go, oh shit, and then put your head back in the curtain like, Jesus Christ, oh my God. Like, mess up your do-rag and all, just mess up your whole look. Like, oh God. And you lose your knees for a second, you lose your breath, because now you understand what it is that man had to do to pull this off. Now you know why he gets no sleep. You know why he like he's never late. You know why he's that punctual. You know why now? Because look, like this is what you was dreaming, but now you see it. It's like,
Come on.
oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. You slide down in your seat a little bit, like, Jesus Christ. Whoa. So then you get it, all right? And for Usher to put me on that level, you know, like he being that type of artist was just, so it was time for me to write it down though. Now, Miss Buckley, it's time to write, and Mr. Usher's asking me for a pen and pad. And I'm like, oh, right. Okay. I didn't know the engineer's name, but I respect all engineers. So I kind of tapped him on the shoulder. I was like, yo, Chief, y'all got a pen and a pad in here? And Usher grabbed my arm like, yo, you didn't write that? I was like, I mean, I didn't write it down.
Right.
I wrote it, but I didn't. And so now there's a mutual respect. He was like, whoa.
He nice.
Okay, that kind of put things in perspective. Like, not only, wow, you didn't write this down? No, but it sounds so much like me. Yeah, I just put your shoes on. That's all. I just put I put the 13s on. Like it's a lot of miles on these feet. But I knew what you were looking for today, and there was only one way that you could approach this particular track. You had to approach it this way. It didn't take a lot of time to hone in on that, and here we are. And so we shook hands, and I was thoroughly appreciative and grateful. And my mom has that plaque. She has that. Like, that's in my mother's house. in Orangeburg. That's like right there. Yeah. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna leave this right here because this is why you let me go leave home all those years ago. Like these moments are why you made the right choice and giving me a blessing to leave South Carolina at 18. Forsaking college. Like, this boy's going crazy. No, absolutely not. No. What? No.
Yeah.
And but when seeing that let her know, like, nah, you did the right thing. My whole family sings. It's only right that a few of us take it to the next level. And so, yeah.
I love that. I think, Rell, that's so amazing because I think you probably know this too. Tamika requested a song at their wedding night. This was their wedding song. So for Tamika requested that was amazing. And after sadly they divorced, she still loves the song, so wholeheartedly. Like, she made a book called Here I Stand, The Beautiful State of Mind. Like, how do you feel that she did that? Name your song after her. How finding her self-worth. She called this was her growth at the time. You know what I'm saying? So for your song to still resonate with her, even though they were married at the time and still after they got divorced and still, they're a loving family and stuff like that, she still thinks of Here I Stand as a statement in her life for what she do. You know what I'm saying? So that's impactful. And I wanted to tell you this too. So, the Daily Mail, at the time when Here I Stand and it came out, they made a beautiful quote about your song. So I want to read this to you. So the Daily Mail, they had said, Usher goes from a broader statement, about the album. But they said a stab at a Stevie Wonder's brand of pop jazz in the title cut. So they called your song a Stevie Wonder pop jazz. So how do you feel about that? And I've read multiple articles that they compared this song to Stevie Wonder. You shocked again,
I mean, I just can't believe we're here. I didn't know that.
Wow.
I didn't know any, but again, humbly grateful, appreciative. To God be the glory. I didn't know that. All I knew is they were influences. Donnie, Stevie, Marvin, James, Sam. They were influences, but I knew in the same breath I didn't want to be them. I really wanted to be me because that's how they became them, by just being them.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to try and be them. I wanted to also be something that the world had never seen. Be seen as something different. So in a lot of cases I would purposely create to be different. I can't say that would always work in my favor.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't about what worked in my favor. It was about, trying to be what I thought all these greats were. The Shaka Khan, the Diana Rosses, like all the greats, male and female. It was just, they had things that just made them who they were. And they never had to deviate from it or go outside of it. And, you know, I want it to be as true to self because I like that's me at my best as a creator and a provider of music therapy to other people. Like me being my best self.
Yeah. And you gave Usher his first #1 adult R&B radio. Like, look, people, y'all need to realize this.
Wow.
Here I stand.
When you say it like that, you know, I understand. Like,
no. It's in Billboard.com. Look, I do my research. I don't play no games. Look, y'all, Usher has had a lot of hits. 100% has a lot of hits. Everybody knows this. But as a radio play, he's never had a #1 hit until Here I Stand. So for that, yes, I looked. I did my research. I checked from the beginning of his career to now. This was his first #1 adult R&B airplay radio hit. And it was 70 weeks at #1. And it was on the charts for 44 weeks. And I looked at every single song. Caught Up wasn't one #1. Yep, no. It was Here I Stand. Yes. It was Here I Stand. It was a radio hit. That's how you know people love this song so much. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And for it to be #1
I did not know where the Grammy nom came from. It was like when I was told that blew me away because it wasn't a single. There was no marketing, promoting, you know, really no push behind it. Like I said, it was the tail end of his project. You know, he was trying to close up shop, like Dre and Vidal, you know, they were giving him, you know, a few more tracks, what have you, but he was already like, you know, I got over 30 songs by the time we did Here I Stand.
Yeah.
Like I had over 30 songs to pick from for this project. And
this was his first radio hit. Like he's had hits, but
wow. I did not know that. And I wouldn't have known that without you. I wouldn't have known that without you.
Rell, you know I'm you. Rell, you know
that's why I gotta give you your flowers. I listen, like, man, I would do a song with somebody, and because I don't write it down, I have to go back in the studio with them and hear it again to remember what we did. Because it's just, all right, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Like, yeah, I was really on it like Stevie J, you know, like just in the studio for days, wouldn't leave. Like, let's just work, you know, let's just work. And then, body shut down, you know, you fall asleep fully dressed for 6, like 7, 8, 9 hours, and you wake up like, oh man, I just missed the whole day. Oh wow.
Yeah,
but you don't care. You don't care.
This was
you don't care. You got that win-win-win mentality, and you just, you know, you don't stop.
Yeah.
I love it.
But this was his first adult R&B airplay #1 hit for 7 weeks. And for that to do right there, that's why I know Here I Stand is such a treasure. Because like I said, for me to hear that 19, and then I would go home from school and hearing that in college, it must have meant something. Because people in Louisiana, and I want to shout out my hometown, Louisiana, 𝗨𝗏106.5 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They are the reason why this song did what it did. Because for me, even so, I think for a lot of people, they wasn't intrigued by the album. But for me, you got to give people a chance to hear their voice. You know what I'm saying? And I think for people, they were so stuck on Confessions. Like, Here I Stand, I think was his most personal, sentimental album that I love. And I feel like it's #3 for me in his catalog because when I hear an artist, I want to hear what they're talking about. You know, that life and stuff like that happens. But I think for me, for Here I Stand, for it just to be such a treasure, and for it to hit #1, I'm not surprised because for that song to be played over and over again, the fans love that song. Now, out of all the songs on the album, that was the one that was #1 on the adult R&B airplay. And that means a lot, you know, Mr. Rell. So I need to tell you that. You have to know that. And I'm going to send you that article.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aww.
Thank you. No, I didn't. I did not. Like, I knew people had to be calling radio stations for, you know, for the Grammy nomination to happen. But I had no idea that was his only #1 contemporary.
It was his first #1.
First #1. Wow.
Adult R&B airplay. That's adult R&B. That's like you just talked about contemporary. So for that to be #1 for him, and mind you, we've had Bird, we had Caught Up.
So we helped him kick that off.
Huh?
So we helped him kick that off. Like,
yeah, you gave him that Stevie Wonder-esque, and I think that's why a lot of people in articles respect that song so much because, you know, we've got Usher in his ballads, but I think for that to be a heartfelt, sentimental, because, you know, You Got It Bad and all that stuff, but Here I Stand was an ode to love. And I think for that right there, it reminds you of Ribbon of the Sky. It reminds you, that's why people, I think, call it Stevie Wonder-esque type of record because I can hear Stevie singing a record like that. I can hear Donnie singing a record like that, coming from the heart.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying, Rell? You deserve
Lionel Richie, he's another one. Like, yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I really did not. I didn't know what you just told me. Like, I didn't know that. And
Oh yeah.
wow,
No, I looked, I
wow.
checked on Billboard, and I had to make sure, like from the beginning of his career to I was like, and it's not, it's like the first song on there, Here I Stand, #1, 𝗨𝗴𝗵𝗵. I'm like, what? 7 weeks. 7 weeks. That's how you know we love that song. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to drop that little gem for you and let you know about that. But you already kind of told me how you felt when the album went #1 and stuff. So, and I think for your mom to be so proud of you and what you told at the time when you left at 18, that's what made it the most important. I respect that so much.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. I got one other thing.
yes.
Usher said stand. Like, I got all the way to the end of the hook, and I was like, I'm looking for that word that kind of, closes the deal. And he said, here I stand. Here I stand. He said stand. Okay, so I wrote everything but the word stand.
Oh.
The word stand is Usher. Okay. But it's kind of appropriate because, like the songs for him, he was the one to kind of, I guess, cut the ribbon or tie the bow, whatever. Like, it was fitting. It was fitting that, like, because you want to absolutely speak for somebody like Usher, because you want to close that deal. You don't, what I mean? You want that deal to close, sign, seal, deliver. So when he stepped in with Stan, the song was completed. It was completed, and to his, to his satisfaction. So it was a done deal. He left me in the background. He was like, our tones match. There's no need for me to, re-sing any of that. I'm just gonna go through, blow these leads, and that was that.
Because
And I
you
went
eating on that
home.
bridge. You are eating on that bridge. I heard you on that bridge. That's why I caught you. I said, that's real. Because look, your man just told me, he was like, he's on the, I'm like, because obviously we know Usher follows demos. We know he knows that. But I think for Usher to put it sound, but you can hear somebody else in the background that don't sound like Usher. I'm not crazy. You can hear you going back and forth. It's like y'all talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? But it's so beautifully. You're not going to even tell who is who, but you can tell it's somebody else in the background that's singing. You can tell. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
This is beautiful. This right here is beautiful. Like, this is probably the most beautiful part for me, because like what you're doing right now, I didn't expect. You expect everything that comes with making a placement with Usher, but 15 years later, what you're doing right now, no. I did not expect that, and I'm just behind you 1,000,000% on whatever else you got going on. I just want to be in the loop. Let's stay in touch.
I appreciate
yeah, like, I'm not closing out the interview or nothing. I'm just
no. I knew you wasn't.
I'm
You know, I got
happy.
no question to ask you, sir. But because I think for what I do on my platform, I want me as a historian, I have to make sure that I hit all my points. But not that I want to make sure that your recognition on why you do what you do is respected. You know what I'm saying? And so people like yourself, like for me to hear Here I Stand at 19, even though I was in a dark time in my place, like I was so thankful to have Here I Stand. People don't talk about it. Like, it's crazy to me, like, just because everybody goes to confession and I respect it, like I said, it's my #1. But his dog is not nothing to play with. And I get so tired of people, kind of come for us a little bit. And it's kind of weird to me because I'm like, one thing about legends, we respect each other, whoever came after us. And it's like, for me, Usher is just a gem. And I just feel like you and him, Rell, for what y'all did on that, for you to have the title track, that means something. You know what I'm saying? That speaks volumes. And if to have him to have a first adult R&B song for #1, and I know for a fact, because I mean, it speaks to the heart. And when the heart speaks, it speaks volumes. You get what I'm saying? So I respect that so much.
Absolutely.
So, I got another question to ask you, sir, since you got all these timeless hits. You got the Streets of Watching, happy 25th anniversary to that. And you got the Message with Mary J. Blige and Dr. Dre. I know that was a dope collab. I know how was that feeling with me and with Mary.
Well, that was 𝗨𝗵𝗵𝗏.
Oh, see?
Go figure. That was 𝗨𝗵𝗵𝗏. Like, we did that in New York. And I was on that hook with 𝗨𝗵𝗏 and Crystal Johnson. You remember Crystal Johnson vocals from Mobb Deep? Temperatures rising. She was on that before Mary. Like, the listen part, Crystal was doing that. But 𝗨𝗵𝗏 had a good relationship with Dre, who was working on, that Chronic project, and working on a lot of new production. So he heard that. Lord Finesse played it for him. Was like, I gotta have that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like I like that right there. I can speak, on my little brother who passed away. Like I gotta have that joint. Who's the youngin? And he said that's Rell. He's like, oh, he nice. He signed. He's like, yeah, he had Rockefeller. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So I want to ask
So
you.
I
Yeah.
wasn't in the studio with Mary on that one. She was
Oh.
probably in the studio with Dre.
Mm.
That might have been possible. I don't know how that the structure went down outside of what me and Lord Finesse did, but
Mm.
again, another bone. I was happy to know that we were thrown. So
Yeah. That
yeah,
album was down
ecstatic.
with.
And the streets was watching. Here's a footnote.
Mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, streets was watching. Um, where Love for Free was my first single, my debut single was on the Streets was Watching soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my first performance was that live performance on the Vibe show with Jay.
What?
Like we were nervous. Oh God, was I nervous? It's a national, TV show. This is Sinbad, and
Oh yeah.
that was my first national performance, and so beyond nervous that night. But that's a footnote. I think that was it. Might have been Jay's first time as a solo artist. I think he was
Mm.
on before with Jazzo or maybe
Uh-huh.
somebody else, but Sunshine and all that stuff came later. Streets was Watching was the very second project. After
Right.
Reasonable Doubt.
Without. Mm-hmm. Right.
Streets was Watching was next. So
Yeah.
I'm on Streets is Watching, and I do think that was his first live performance, as a solo artist also.
Yeah.
So two milestones, but man, were we nervous that night. I was I mean, look, y'all are already stars, y'all celebrities. Like I'm just signed to Rockefeller now. I'm not the dancing type. I'm the performing type, but
Right.
choreography, I have a thorough respect for it. It was Greek to me, you
Yeah.
know. Like that kind of rhythm was Greek to me. And so, but yeah, we got through it.
Yeah.
Performance wise, it was great. And that's another footnote for my fan base. It's like, yeah, that night was probably one of he and I's, first nationally televised performances. And
Yeah.
yeah, like that's not something you're gonna hear a lot. But that Usher thing, man, I didn't know that. I
Oh
had no
yeah.
idea that was, I didn't know. First
Yeah.
contemporary, first adult R&B. Yeah.
The section where I found it in it's Here I Stand is like literally the first song and it says #1, 7 weeks. Yeah. It's up there. That's how you go give respect. And this is like literally his whole career. Like that's the first adult R&B #1 song he had. And that makes perfect sense because obviously they played a lot back home where I'm from, but at the end of the day, it goes to show you that he was hitting. Obviously, he's hit the radio, but I think the contemporaries gave him a lot of respect for that song as well. So that's dope. So I want to ask you, what is the key? Since we're talking about Here I Stand and all these lovely songs that you made, what is the key of making a hit record? And then if you know that, Mr. Rell, what is your favorite hit from your catalog?
I'm not sure if I wrote my favorite one yet.
Oh,
Um,
uh-oh. You know what the key is? You know how to unlock that door?
I'm not even sure if that happened yet. I love a lot of what I've done because regardless of what it did,
Yeah.
commercially or even economically, it was what I know it did, emotionally.
Yeah.
Like I'm big on the therapy.
Mm.
I'm big on making sure that, it has some sort of impact. I really don't care what audience I'm speaking to, you
Yeah.
know. Um, like that's really all I care about. But my advice as far as or a style, I don't really have a style. What I
Mm.
do is I try to pick tracks that speak to me.
Mm.
If it grabs me immediately, then great. Or if it's something, if it's a vibe for me, I'm like, okay, that's stage one. Stage two, I get with that vibe. I listen to all the elements in that vibe before I try and do anything to it. I listen to
Yeah.
every sound, every gap, um, where it's completely filled with sound. Like I'm listening to all of that because before I write, I got to know where all these places are. Where there's gaps, I can be wordy. where there's a lot of, where there's, all filled up, you
Yeah.
know, I might only have 3, 4 words for that whole part because, they can clash. All of those things go into play. But after listening, respectfully listening to the track, the next thing I try to do is picture, based on what I'm feeling, who my audience is. Right?
That makes sense.
That's the next thing I do. So I go from listening to the track, feeling out my audience. Once I filled out my audience, then I began to try and speak to them. If it's a crowd, I speak to that crowd.
Yeah.
If it's a woman, I speak to that woman. If it's kids, I speak to those kids.
Yeah.
If it's for my dogs, I speak for my dogs. It's whatever it is, once I see who they are, now I'm only either talking to them or rallying them to talk with me. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is I'm saying. So though, and notice the lyrics are the last thing to come. I don't focus on what I'm gonna say right away. Like I focus on what that track's making me feel.
Yeah.
Based on what I'm feeling, who am I speaking to? You know what I
Right.
mean? So all my homework is done by the time I start trying to say whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like catching, how y'all girls catch a man out there, but he ain't around. So you gotta sit with your proof till he get off from work or something. Like, you know what I mean? So when he finally get there, it's ooh, 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 ooh. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of that same thing. It's it's you don't had a chance to really fume and go up and down with it, call a couple girlfriends, get different suggestions on how you gonna approach it, all of that. So you know what I mean? You it's like by the time you get ready to deliver, you're ready. See what I mean? It's the same thing with songwriting. It's the same thing.
Oh, you break it out. Look, I mean, you've been around the realest of the real. I mean, y'all ain't had no pen and pad. Y'all just coming off the dome, but like you said, once. And I always say music touches the soul. And so, like I said, for you, it has to touch you. And if it can't touch you, I see why people sometimes songwriters go next. I can't connect. It's just something to understand. Like you said, it has to gravitate to you. And then I think for you to picture it to the audience, that speaks to us because I respect it. Because, like I said, for us to hear Here I Stand, who would have thought a lot of us would be so in love with that song? I mean, A Beautiful Ballad. Because for me, when I listen to the album, the ballads supersede the fast tracks. And I'm just gonna be real. I love Loving This Club, but those ballads just dominated every ballad.
Yeah, they did.
And I'm just gonna be real.
Just be real. Did, right? They did, but I didn't know what Here I Stand was gonna do.
Yeah.
I just knew that I made a placement Usher, and
that part.
Wow. All right. And after that, there was a bit for my for you, Miss Buckley, and for the fans. Hey guys, after that, I was minding my business, and blessings flow. Once that door is open, just let it happen.
Yeah.
Let it happen. Keep your feet on the ground. Definitely keep your integrity. There'll be checkpoints.
Yeah.
You know when they come. And don't allow anything to make you uneasy. Just be yourself, stay yourself. You're enough. No matter how much they try to tell you need to do this or that, you are the one that gauges whether or not, you actually have to do those things or not. And so I kind of lost my thought with that one. But it was somewhere else. It was a point I was trying to make. It was a point I was trying to make there. Say that again.
Stay true to yourself. Don't ever change. I see where you're going because I think a lot of people.
Stay true. It's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen where you're gonna see those things that have you like, whoa, this is different. So I'm minding my business. I'm in the house again. This is after Here I Stand. The placement's been made. The song's not out yet, but the placement's been made. Yeah, the song's not out yet. Usher's probably back in Atlanta, whatever. The album's not out yet. Phone rings. I'm minding my business. Hello. Yo, Rell, what up, man? This is this Diddy, yo. I'm working on a project, man. I heard that Here I Stand, man. That was dope. I want you to come to the studio, man. Kind of throw some ideas around. I got some tracks in there. Some people gonna be there. Hev is in there, heavy. So the whole time he's talking, all right. Everything else went from like that teacher on Charlie Brown after he said Diddy. They said, "Yo, Rell, what up, man? This Diddy. I'm
Wow.
And then I went, after everything he said, the only thing that I could muster was Puff.
No, right.
It's like Puff.
Right.
He's like, yeah, man, Puff. How you got my number? I don't care. I'm on my way. Like, say less. And so once it starts to happen, stay focused. Keep yourself in places that help you network. Keep yourself in places that benefit you. If you're serious about your craft, like, you shouldn't even be in a club if it's not to your benefit, right?
That's
like no, it costs you to hang out. You know what I mean? So if you're not getting paid to hang out, you shouldn't be hanging out. You know what I mean? Especially now, it's kind of dangerous to do that, actually. So, so, you know, like, just stay true. Stay true, everybody. Just, you know that you're enough. Stop saying that you're not, and stop basing on what you've seen elsewhere. Like, that's not you. That's that. You know what I mean? Learn from it and make your mark. But, you know, stop being afraid. Stop being afraid of success. Stop being afraid of trying new things. You know, sometimes it's to your benefit to step out into yourself. You know, a lot of us are not even, you know, dealing with ourselves right now. Some of us are dealing with, you know, what we become based on surroundings, society, whatever. Like, no, step outside of all of that. Step into you. I don't care how geeky it is. If you love it, do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's for me. I don't care who's telling you what. Like, go after what you love in life. Pursue what you love. These things will never feel like work, even if you got to switch lanes when something don't work right. It's all about keeping passion. God is where passion is.
Wow.
So you can never be wrong following your passion, when, like, that's the closest that you are to God. Because following your passion, there's no distraction from your righteousness. There's no distraction from your spirit being on that plane. Like, just following your passion will do that. It'll keep you on that vibration. And
Wow.
you know what I mean? It's when you don't, that's, you know, we end up in these pitfalls. But follow what you love. Follow what you love. Like those blessings, those lessons, most of the time you bounce back from. You know what I mean? Because you're put there to learn them. You know, it's those other despairing, what's the word I'm looking for? Sporadic, impulsive decisions that we make that end up tying us down for long periods of time. You know, that usually don't happen when you're pursuing what you love. You just, something will happen that's a blessing. Something will happen that's a lesson. You know, last but not least, guys, failure is it's a label.
Yeah.
Failure is failure. No. I'm sorry. Failure is not a label. It's a lesson.
That's a lesson.
Failure is not a label. It's a lesson. Like, just because you lose one time, that don't make you a failure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I say this as a small town guy. Like, I know how, you know, that can have an impact on one's esteem. But no, failure is not a label. It's a lesson. Learn from it if you're able. That's the blessing.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah. So I don't know what else to tell my countrymen and women, but if you got more questions, let's keep going. You know, I just want to be in the moment. I want them to know it's sincere.
Look, this is your interview.
I want them to know it's pure, and, you know, I'm trying not to cuss. You know, I'm trying to keep it clean because there's kids watching.
Look,
no, seriously.
But I love that you speak on it, and I think that is just so beautiful, because I think people need to understand authenticity speaks, and that's why you're still here, because you've always been real. Over almost 30 years later, you're still here, for you to tell your story. That goes to show you, at the end of the day, your legacy means something. I respect that. Thank you so much. So I got 2 more questions. So since today is the beautiful 15th anniversary of Usher's 5th album, well, Dr. Usher Raymond IV, since he's doctor now. Dr. Usher Raymond IV. If you had to describe one word about this beautiful, timeless album, here I stand, your title track. What word do you have to describe about this beautiful album?
Pure.
Oh, I'm done. Go ahead.
Pure. You know, pure would be the first word. You know, synonyms of pure would be like raw contemporary. It's the first time he, you know, it was the first time that he did it. whatever Usher does, he does it all the way. He tries to, that's always, his mindset. I know
Yeah.
that about him now.
Mm.
And so it was just pure. It was, this is Usher, the man who,
Yep.
for the first time in his life is in, you know, complete control. You
Mm,
know what I
yeah.
mean? You're like, my way was more of a marketing thing.
I
Like
agree.
as far as who he was as a man and the that state of being and that state of peace that he had arrived at
Yeah.
that moment, I was happy for him. And that was another thing that I told him in the studio, like how genuinely happy I was for how he was feeling
Yeah.
about where he was as a man. Like you had to be there to understand how happy and at peace was, peace he was,
Yeah.
at that point in time, and like you said, maybe it didn't last,
Yeah.
but in that moment it was pure. He was like Mark Zuckerberg when he first got Facebook off the ground. That look he had with his eyes closed, he was just there. Biggie after Life After Death, he was just there. Like, I did it, man. Like I really did. I did it. Like nobody can say I'm not a man on this.
Okay.
Nobody can like, and if they do, I don't care because I know better. And he had that confidence. I'm not saying he didn't have it, but I'm not talking about on stage. I'm talking about in general. It was just, it like there was no arrogance, there was no aggression, there was no, puffiness of the chest. There was just none of that. It was just, what I mean? He was so relaxed and so happy with it,
Oh,
with the position he was in. And I think that for the most, you know what I mean? Like it's never about the music for me outside of the creative process.
yeah.
Outside the creative process, it's back to life.
You better. Mm.
It's back to life.
That's,
It's back. It's back. It's back. I'm sorry, I'm a bore. I know that, but
no, you are dropping gems. No, people are loving this conversation because they like the man behind the music. People don't know Usher about. They just think, oh, he's just entertaining. Oh, he just keeps it moving. But this is the most honest I've even heard about Usher, who he is as a person. Like I've interviewed people that work with Usher, and they say he's really nice. But I think now they understand the craft that he takes it seriously. Like he's like a little young Michael. Yes, we're gonna put him in. Yes, that's little Michael. And
absolutely.
down to it, yes. And when it comes down to it, he loves R&B. And now I'm really understanding that he really, really does take R&B very seriously, and it's in his heart.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah, he does.
I get it.
That Don't Waste My Time. I love that joint. Like that's one of my favorite joints right now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it has that contemporary feel to it. It's a contemporary groove. I love it. You know what I mean? I love that he's still in love with, just being vocally solid. I love that. He's still in love with that part, and it shows. You
Yeah.
know, he's performing on roller skates. He loves it, and that's I'm serious. And that you gotta love somebody who loves what they're doing to that degree. You gotta love them. It's just hard not to.
Yeah. And I agree with
Um,
you. I feel like this album for me, this was his freedom album, this was love, and this was declaration of Usher. I do feel that with this album, this was the most, like you said, pure, but not that this is the most honest. And I noticed in the a lot of people, if you don't notice in the cover, if you see on the back of the license plate, that's his newborn son, y'all. So Cinco, if you notice, he was at a very happy time in his life. Like he was happy to be a new father, a new husband. I feel for me, and I think now I'm starting to think about it, Rell. This was his most honest and pure album. We've had confessions and stuff like that. That was very marketable. We know how confessions did a lot. But when it comes down to who Usher was as a man, this was his most pure. And that's why for me, the ballads just like the ballads, every ballad on this album just superseded. It was top tier. Here I Stand is a beautiful Stevie Wonder-esque album track. For me, it means it's a radio single. I call it a single. It's a single. But for me, I feel that Usher at the time he wanted everybody to understand that he was at a place of happiness and peace. And that's what you want from your artists. Like people, I get we want our artists to cater to us, but they have to be human at the end of the day. And I
when
feel
is it okay? Yeah. Like when is it okay? Like if
okay. And
you
I
had
feel he needed this
your
album to
whole career was geared towards like a fan base,
yeah,
women loving, you know,
yeah,
at what point is it okay? you almost need their okay. But at
Yeah.
what point is it okay for you to just, focus on one of them instead of all of them? Like, and
Right.
how are the rest of them going to feel about it? It's like,
Yeah.
but this is what I want right now. Like, is my stock going to fall because this is what I want?
Yeah.
Because I still love all of you. Don't get me wrong. I do. I love doing this for all of you. But I'm getting this, urge to want to love something for me too.
Preach.
And it can be a dilemma. It can,
Hmm.
I'm sure Michael, a lot of pop artists deal
Hmm.
with that because the popular culture is where, is where, this can affect your position. You know,
Yeah.
you know, for lack of better words, Ratchet kind of works with you in the urban market. You know
Yes,
what I
sir.
mean? It's like it's like it kind of it really don't hurt you. You know what I mean? Most of your crowd, they kind of expect you to do something dumb here and there, like da 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 da. They they commented on it for weeks. It's a trend
Right.
for weeks, but then they move right on and they still with you. But
Yeah.
in pop culture, you can take a hit, behind.
Mm. Yeah. And he
You know,
crossed over. I mean, yeah. Especially with Confessions. I mean, people were expecting him to. I don't know if they wanted a part two. I wasn't expecting a part two. I just wanted Usher to come back with something just kind of a little bit like Confessions. But for me, because I was getting older too, and I've always said this too about Usher. He's getting older. I'm getting older. People change. Things, life changes for people. So you gotta let people be people. And when Usher, was at that transition in his life, I was finding out love in this club. They played it all the time in Louisiana, but here I stand on the Soul Station. Oh, that right there was the one. Like that right there was going to get played. Like respect the singles, respect them all day. But I think to get that sentimental, that ballad, and the recognition of thank respect for radio play for R&B or dark contemporary. That's why the song went 7 weeks to #1 because it showed the pure honesty and the love of what R&B is, and I think that means a lot to me. And I'm so proud of you, Rell, for that because I mean you gave Usher his first adult R&B #1 hit. Like he had yeah, but yeah, ain't no adult contemporary. Look, no, it's not.
no,
But
no.
it goes to show you that Usher was hitting every genre. Like I've always said, he hits every genre. He does. He hits every genre. He does. But I got one last question for you, sir. So what you doing now in the current state of 2023 now since we talk about your beautiful, illustrious legacy. So what are you doing now for yourself? What are you doing at the moment right now with music and R&B?
I am.
Well, you on the road. I see you on the road, sir. Look.
Yes, yes. We're in Darlington, South Carolina right now. We have a show to do later out here. I'm looking
Yes.
forward to that. Yeah,
Are
yes.
you coming here? I
Yeah.
see, Rell.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna be on the radar in the near future. We
Okay.
I dropped Welcome to the South on this album with DJ Effect Sound. The album's called The Collective. That's gonna be out July, I think.
Okay.
I think he's projecting a July release for that. We're done with the recording for the most, and so looking forward to that. A lot of uh, I would say a lot more good music. I really did a 88 to 80 kind of thing with this particular project that I was working on. I wanted everybody. I wanted everybody from 8 to 80 years old. I didn't want, anyone to be exempt. If that means popular culture, so be it. But, I just didn't want anyone to be left out. That's why this first single, Welcome to the South, was the debut we decided on because it was a rallying call, a rallying song for basically the entire Southeast.
Yeah.
Starting from where I'm based in South Carolina, and to basically let everyone this way, down that way, know that I'm now back home. My flags are planted here. Any business that we're gonna do from now on in the music industry is gonna start from where I grew up now, and I'll
Preach.
fly out when I need to, fly out when I have to, but yeah, we're gonna make this ground zero. There's a lot of great things going on in my county right now, as far as development. So
Yeah.
we want to be sure that we can hit the ground running, being a part of that process. Help some other people, tradesmen, women, become a part of that process. So, it's about taking that whole frontline feel to the next level as now, you know, middle-aged people ourselves. And you know, it's just something that you become conscious of as you grow older. And I'm looking forward to, you know, being a part of that as well. After the collective is released, I'll be back to working on my solo project.
Mm.
And we do intend to revamp some of the Remedy, but kind of upgrade the sound and, you know, bring a lot of those tunes back, you know, because I got a fan base that ain't trying to hear nothing from me until they get that.
That part.
Yeah, it's like, I
Yeah, we
know
ain't
it's,
trying to kill
yeah,
you. We just want the beginning to hear you can
we
write the
just
back.
want what we want. That's, you know, I
Yeah,
mean, we're the fans. Like, hello, like, do what we say and we got you.
that
And
part.
so, so I gotta honor and respect the fans by making sure that they get, you know, the elements of that Remedy. But
Yeah.
we have some new things that we're doing too that I know that you guys are gonna enjoy. And what else is there? I am songwriting, still creating hooks, predominantly for independent artists worldwide.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so they can reach me on my Instagram, official Rell Music, on my TikTok, uh, official Rell underscore 803. And we get it in. We get it in. I gotta send a shout out to them. They really kept me going.
Oh,
Um, and so they became my focus. You
mm,
know, like it was just, you know what? We're gonna make this quantity thing work.
right.
Okay. Like, granted, the music industry is where a lot of quality is, but there's a lot of quality in independence.
That part.
So there's also quantity. It's just more of them that want to work with you, you know, and are willing, you know. And I'm the type that's willing to work with all budgets. You know,
Mm,
just give me the skinny on your situation and we will find a way to work with that. And
oh,
so that's what kept me busy. I gotta be on, like, that, going through stretching with no management, allowing the people who brought me, you know, opportunities to, you know, gain the commission. Things
yeah,
like that have kept me in it. You know,
yeah,
it just kept me in it, applying a lot of street rules to, you know, the business when I wasn't in position to do corporate business. You know, I would just go back that other way we used to do before I left home, and
yeah.
you know, it still works. Barter, utilize, be utilized. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes it's not about the money here, but it's about, you know, what I know y'all gonna have going on next year that I want to be down with. So,
Yeah,
you know, it's those things. It's building relationships. You know, it
mm,
takes you much further than having the money to pay people.
yeah,
You know, because sometimes you got to be careful about making your relationship with, you know, someone whose services you need strictly about money,
right.
because that's all they're gonna see you as. But
At
if
all.
you are, you know, genuinely, you know, bent on building a relationship with them, you know, y'all opportunities will supersede the money. Like, neither one of you will care about it. It'll just get to that point because you'll both be feeding each other opportunities. So the money won't matter. It'll just come. You know.
You dropping them gems. You better speak. You got people from South Carolina that's cutting up. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we love people
Well,
that's grounded and humble. Always give love to where they're from, but not even that give love to the people that made them. Because a lot of these artists now are, songwriters, no shade, but a lot of them don't give the love of the people who made who you are. You know what I'm saying? And it just speaks to genuine. Like we're not forcing you to give respect and stuff like that. But it's just the generosity for us to really respect what you do. You know?
it's just the truth.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the truth. And I want people to know the truth, you know,
Mm.
especially when it comes to my music legacy. I want people to know the absolute truth because others are watching. You
Yep.
know, some have already learned from mistakes we made in our era. You
Yeah.
know, have already capitalized, sealed their, you know, secured themselves in ways that we simply weren't able to in our time, and in a lot of ways it wasn't meant to happen that
Yeah.
way. And so, um, humble's always been the way. Like, you
Mm.
know, it's
Yep.
always been the way for me. That's when I got the most out of situations.
Yeah.
I'm ooh, guys, listen, respect yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay? Respect yourselves. Like, stop demanding respect.
Yeah.
If you respect yourself, you'll get respect.
Mm.
Like if you just respect yourself, you'll get respect. If you go in a room, stay yourself, stay in your lane, showcase your greatness as yourself, you'll leave the room with the respect that you won't get demanding everybody in the room to respect you. You know, most of the time they end up not liking you and wanting to beat you up or something when you demand respect. You know, like respect is not something you have to demand from anyone but yourself. If you respect yourself, like 99% of the times you're gonna get respect. You know, my respect in life came from respecting myself. It came from, like we talked about this whole conversation, staying humble, staying myself, you know, always believing that I was enough,
That's
you
right.
know, and that everything has its perfect timing. And, you know, it's all about timing. And the only way that you'll be ready for timing is to stay prepared.
Yeah.
Because it's not about an actual time. It's a moment, you know, and you looking back at the clock later, you know, once the moment passes, like, wait, what time was it when that happened? I got to make sure I document this, man. No, you crazy? Like, I can't believe that just happened. What time
Right.
is it? You know, time comes later, but the timing
Yeah.
is the essence. So,
Mm.
you know, just keep yourselves in good form. Like stay your country self. Stay your country self. Stay your country self. Stay your country self.
Yeah.
And I just don't see things going wrong for you. Like I said, there'll be scenarios that end up being lessons instead of the blessing that you thought,
Yeah.
but they'll never leave you face down in the dirt if you just, you know what I mean, being conscious
Yeah.
of the fact that, you know, I'm cool regardless of what. Cups always half full, you know what I mean, never half empty. Um, you know, every day is great because I got good health, strength, life. I got everything I need to pursue and push. You know, it might not be Sunday, but so what? I don't care. Like, it's still great. Like, I still would rather have life than not, you know, as far as I've seen. You know what I mean? Nobody came back and told me what's going on when we leave. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna focus on it now. I'm gonna seize the moment. You know, I'm just
You
gonna
better
be
seize it. Look,
excited.
giving people
Yeah,
no hits and stuff. Look, you better seize the moment, season, and enjoy it for yourself. So
right,
thank you. But do you have
right.
any last words you want to say since this is the beautiful end of our interview for the 15th anniversary of Usher's Here? I saying, what stuff do you got to say? Any last words today?
Mm, just again, thank you, Miss Buckley. You know, because without you, like
Yeah.
this wouldn't even be like this moment that, you know, you're taking initiative to pay homage to Usher and you know, to me, if I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm
Oh.
that humble. It's just I'm speechless. I'm speechless behind. I was speechless from when we first spoke. You know, like before you got the pictures, the do the fly. I'm speechless from when we first spoke because how you brought this to me is again, it was genuine. It was pure. It was coming from, you know, that place that only sincerity comes from. I know that energy well. I love when it's being projected on me. It's the best
Oh.
feeling in the world when when you know you speaking to somebody, you know, that's just being sincere. Like because you speaking all day long, whether you're just being cordial or what have you, but when you get those sincere thank yous, they they reverberate. They mean something. You know, they really resonate with you, man. So
Yeah.
you resonated with me that way. Um, because even I will get caught up in, you know, um perception.
Yeah.
I will get caught up in society's perception. I'm not, you know, I'm not exempt to
No.
feeling a way. Like, you know, you put out an album, it's incredible. It never hit stores. That's gonna change how anybody feels.
Yeah.
It is. But thank God I wasn't just an artist. Thank God I was a songwriter, creator too. You know, because I'm telling you, that's what kept me. Without
No.
that, I don't know. You know, and so my heart goes out to a lot of artists who were in that situation. And
Mm.
you know, there's so many reasons to stay humble. You see what I'm saying?
Free.
Like I'm too afraid to speak out of text, you know, because it's just too many ways that, you know, the legs can be kicked from under the table. And I don't want that. I don't want that for me or nobody else.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm grateful for you. I'm
Oh,
grateful for, you know, for everybody that's affiliated with you. I'm grateful for anybody that helped you with your platform. I'm grateful for, you know, because they got to be good people.
oh
You
yeah.
know, they got to be good people. So I'm grateful to you and all of them for recognizing, you know, what we artists, songwriters, producers, um, DJs,
Yep.
try to do. You know,
Radio.
radio. You know, engineers, everybody. Don't get me started. But
Right.
it's I'm just I'm beyond happy. You know, for what you did. I didn't know that 15 years from that year we'd be here. You know, with Dr. Raymond, like you said. Wow. It's just for me, it's all about you now. And it's all about, you know, us staying in touch. And
Yeah.
it's all about whatever I can do, you know, to help aid, you know, FX and our team with whatever y'all need, you know, how we can be utilized, how we can utilize things in your area. Let's just keep that going. You know, you are a mogul in the making,
Thank you.
and we just wanna see you get there. Like it's all transparency with my team. You're gonna love them. I know you love them already, but like
Yes.
when you really see how they get down, you're really gonna love them because you know they just want to see wins. They just want to see wins. It's not you know there's no ulterior motives. There's no hidden agendas. It's just you know we sincerely want to see you win. And I mean that's it. Like, that's it. I'm just thankful for you. Very
Oh,
thankful for you.
I
And
appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And, you know, I'm so thankful for you in my life. And like I told you when we talked, you know, it was a dark, dark place in my life because I lost so many people. You know, one, my mother. But I think, like I said, a year later, when that music kind of gets you out that dark place, I'm thankful that, you know, I had my iPod and me and my friend going down in college, my freshman year, going around listening to Usher here, I said, because for us, I feel that when music comes from a beautiful place, it touches the soul. And I think that for me was a healing place for me because I'm truly thankful for here I stand. I'm truly thankful because for me in my life, it's a declaration for me to be happy and be free. So I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm so proud of you. Now I want to give you your flowers again. I honor you. I thank you so much. And y'all, we are done with our beautiful interview with the R&B legend. Well, Grammy nominated. Hold on, because you ain't finna kill me in these comments, y'all. Grammy nominated. The R&B legend, singer, songwriter, and actor, Mr. Rell. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. God bless y'all. Y'all have a great day. And go make sure y'all listen to Usher's Here I Stand, because that stuff is still bangs 15 years later to this day. Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Thank all of y'all. God bless all of y'all.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.